So Woody, thanks for coming out this morning and being willing to meet and interview. The programming team wanted to hear from somebody who had stories in their life about all these different things we're experiencing. And we thought of you because everybody knows you have plenty of stories, but not everybody remembers those stories.
Yeah, as you said, I've told it a lot to people, but this is over 50 years ago. I'm at a missionary convention of all things, and I went there for the wrong reasons. I went there to meet a girl or to spend some time with a girl, and but experienced real Christianity. At the end of the week that we were there, they were singing a song which I never heard before. I grew up with hymns, and the words were, "I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back." And I told God then, I said, I don't really know what this means, but this is what I want to do.
Was this something that was kind of percolating throughout the week?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was, getting up in the mornings and having devotions with people, which I'd never done before. I think there were 19,000 young people who were really excited about their faith, their relationship with Jesus. That was a whole new thing for me too. And hearing speakers, I mean, for me, church had always been boring, but hearing speakers that were really interesting to listen to.
They were really excited about what they're talking about. I'm sure there were other times in your life since then that God invited you to follow him.
Yeah.
What's that look like since that moment?
Going to seminary, I was not even interested in higher education. And so that was not something that I was interested in really at all. But my best friend was going, and I saw the syllabus, and so I decided I would go for one semester, one course, how to study the Bible. Even a stranger thing that happened was that I became a pastor of a church, and then 15 years later, starting another church, Blue Ridge Community Church. A lot of people who were part of the original church, originally we were excited about it, but then as we made the move, then maybe 75% of them over the first 3 years left. And I told them, I said, I'd rather fail at this than succeed at what we've been doing, because I know God is out here in front of us.
Seems like it's not just like that initial invitation to follow, but a series of invitations to come along.
Yeah. As somebody has said, and I mean, it's not original with me, certainly, is when you say yes to Jesus the first time, it's just the first time, that he will continue to ask you to say yes. And when you quit saying yes, then you quit moving.
So another big part of this Follow Mission Made is that made piece. How have you seen God making you over the years? What are some marker moments where you're like, man, God was shaping me. He was making me into something new.
Yeah. I was the first person, as far as I know, in my family to ever even go to college. I had no need to go to college. I didn't like school. And then I ended up going to seminary. Then eventually I ended up going to graduate school. And I saw and still see what God used that to do, not just teaching me theology, but teaching me, giving me time to grow up. Other things too, like I mentioned about the transition we made from the first church that we were. And when we did that, 75% of the people left, and it was extremely painful for us because they were friends and family and things like that. And so we had to make a lot of decisions to continue to follow. And in it, God taught us a lot of things.
That is the hard part of making. God making. I mean, I am grateful as a younger leader, grateful, how you guys have walked through that. Shay and I have looked to that for years of how are we going to go through this?
Right. And I mean, there's personal stuff too, just saying yes again. For example, like every married couple, you go to bed at night and it hasn't been a fun day and it got worse and you're angry and I get into bed and all I want to do is to communicate that right now I'm mad, and I don't want to have anything to do with you. But then realizing, knowing what God has to say about it. And it's for me, and I think for most people, it's a huge act of the will, just to turn over and turn toward her and say, I was wrong, and I'm sorry. And God uses all of those things to hammer us into the shape that He wants and to sharpen us so that He can use us. So you're right, most of what He does in doing that is not fun. You do realize after a while, He didn't promise us fun. He just promised to make us into somebody that looked like Jesus.
So the last part, of this is being on mission. And I mean, it's kind of at the end of it, the point of why we do what we do at Blue Ridge and, throughout your life. How has God had you on mission?
I guess overview, obviously, it would be like the church, being able to do church the way He wants us to do it, and the way He wants us to do it is for the purpose of reaching people who are far from God. As Jesus left, He gave us a commission. I want you to be my witnesses here in Jerusalem, in your local world, but also in Judea and Samaria, and in Lynchburg and Richmond, and Washington, and Virginia, but also to the end of the earth. And so yesterday afternoon, I had a meeting with a couple, and it was about another subject. But I just asked, I said, here's the first problem. It's never the problem you brought. It's always the thing behind the thing. And the thing behind the thing is, I don't think you know Jesus. And they both said, I think you're right. So I said, this is a decision that Jesus is offering to you right now. And so you can make it anytime, but you can make it now if you want to. And both of them said, yeah, I want to. So
what does that do for your faith in the middle?
I just walk away from it. I say, oh God, thank you for letting me just be a part of that. So that's cool. And when I'm in a refugee camp in Greece or in Turkey, I'm not even built to be a compassionate person naturally, like some people. But when I see the people making a move toward Jesus, then that's the mission. Jesus, He said, go into all the world, make disciples. When I walk away from that, there's this sense of this is joy at a level that I don't experience anywhere else. This is what I was made for. And not just me, I think it's what we as human beings were made for. Not just to consume life for ourselves, but to give the life of Jesus away to people.